Good morning, dear friends. Up till now, we completed regarding ANS, then drugs acting on cardiovascular system. Now, for second session, we start with the next chapter, that is diuretics and anti-diuretic hormones, that is ADH. This is the next chapter, that is diuretics and ADH. ADH stands for anti-diuretic hormone. Now let us see first, what do you mean by diuretics? Diuretics, these are the pharmacological agents when given to the patient increases rate and flow of urine formation. These are the agents when given increases the rate and flow or volume of urine formation as well as increases rate of excretion of urine, thereby useful in treatment of oliguria condition and used in treatment of edema. Oliguria, that is nothing but decrease in urine flow and urine formation. काही वेळेस पेशंटला urine flow and urine formation कमी होतं, that condition that is called as oliguria. मागच्या वर्षी तुम्ही HCP मध्ये शिकला असाल oliguria, that is nothing but decrease in urine flow and decrease in urine formation. Particularly in summer season, there is a chances of oliguria condition, or maybe due to the kidney failure there may be chances of oliguria, that is decreases urine flow and urine formation. And if there is a oliguria condition occurs, there is a chances of edema. What is edema? Edema, that is nothing but sodium retention in body fluid. की आपल्या बॉडी मध्ये जेव्हा सोडियमचं कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन वाढतं, डिपॉझिशन ऑफ सोडियम ऑकर्स इन बॉडी, that leads to process edema. Therefore, diuretic, these agents are useful particularly in treatment of oliguria, that is decreases urine flow and urine formation, that condition that is oliguria. So useful in treatment of oliguria as well as useful in treatment of edema. Edema, that is sodium retention in body fluid. So when these diuretic agent given in oliguria and edema condition increases rate and flow of urine formation, or increases rate and volume of urine formation as well as increases rate of excretion, thereby facilitating loss of sodium from body, facilitating excretion of sodium from body, or decreases reabsorption of sodium in body and thereby useful as a diuretic agent in treatment of oliguria as well as useful in treatment of edema. That agent that is to be called as diuretic agent. You know that kidney is playing an important and vital role, not only to maintain or maintaining but useful to maintain the composition of body fluid. This is mainly that this kidney not only used to maintain the composition of body fluid. The major part of kidney, that is nephron. This nephron consisting of Bowman's capsules, then proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule, and duct for collecting urine. In last year we completed regarding the nephron. That nephron consisting of Bowman's capsule, proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule, and duct for collecting urine. These diuretic agents either modify, directly or indirectly modify nephron function and thereby increases rate and volume of urine formation as well as increases rate of excretion of urine and thereby useful in treatment of oliguria condition as well as useful in treatment of edema. So these agents that is to be called as diuretic agent. Sometimes they will be asked define diuretic agent. So and give examples. And diuretic are those agents which increases rate and volume of urine formation as well as increases rate of excretion of urine and thereby useful in treatment of oliguria condition and useful in treatment of edema. You understand that oliguria, that is nothing but decrease in urine flow and urine formation. Under such a condition, diuretic agents are effective to increases rate and volume of urine formation as well as increases rate of excretion of urine. Also, these agents facilitating excretion of sodium, decreases reabsorption of sodium in body and thereby useful in treatment of edema. That agent that is to be called as diuretic agent. These diuretic agents broadly classified into different types according to mechanism of action. So according to mechanism of action, there are 4 types of diuretic agent. First type that is called as weak diuretic agent. Second type that is called as moderately potent diuretic agent. Third type that is highly potent diuretic agent. And fourth type that is called as potassium sparing diuretic agent. This classification is important. Sometimes they will be asked, define and classify diuretic agent along with example for 4 marks. So diuretics broadly classified into 4 types according to mechanism of action. First type that is weak diuretic agent. Second, moderately potent diuretic agent. Third type that is highly potent diuretic agent. And fourth type that is called as potassium sparing diuretic agent. So these are the major 4 types. Now weak diuretic agent further classified into different types according to mechanism of action. In that first type, that weak diuretic again classified into 4 types. One that is called as osmotic diuretic agent. Osmotic diuretic, as the name itself indicating, that these agents facilitating excretion of urine by osmosis mechanism and therefore called as osmotic diuretic agent. So first type under weak diuretic agent, that is osmotic diuretic agent act by osmosis mechanism. So osmotic diuretic agent again 2 types. One that is called as electrolytes and second one that is to be called as non-electrolytes. Electrolytes example sodium and potassium salt. Sodium chloride, potassium chloride, that is potassium salt, that is used as electrolyte diuretic agent by osmosis mechanism. And second type that is non-electrolytes, example mannitol. Mannitol injections available in market, glycerol. These agents that is acting as a osmotic diuretic agent, that is under non-electrolyte category. Then second type that is called as acidifying salts, that is act as a urinary acidifying agent, that is acidifying salts, example ammonium chloride and arginine hydrochloride. These agents act by metabolic acidosis mechanism or acidifying agent, urinary acidifying agent, example ammonium chloride and arginine hydrochloride. Third type that is called as xanthine alkaloids. Chemically containing xanthine alkaloid. We completed under CNS stimulant and xanthine alkaloid, particularly aminophylline. This aminophylline used as diuretic agent. And fourth type that is called as carbonic anhydrase inhibitor. These agents act by inhibiting action of carbonic anhydrase enzyme and therefore called as carbonic anhydrase inhibitors. Example acetazolamide. This acetazolamide used as a weak diuretic agent act by the mechanism that inhibiting action of carbonic anhydrase enzyme. So example that is acetazolamide. So these are the 4 types under weak diuretic agent. Second type moderately potent diuretic agent. Example of moderately potent diuretic agent, that is benzothiazide derivatives or benzothiazide diuretic agent like thiazide, chlorothiazide, hydrochlorothiazide. These agents belonging to moderately potent diuretic agent, that is chemically containing benzothiazide with nucleus, example thiazide, chlorothiazide, hydrochlorothiazide. Third type that is highly potent diuretic agent. Now here again there are 2 types. One that is parenteral organic mercurial compound. Parenteral organic mercurial compound. Chemically it contains mercurial compounds given by parenteral route. So example are mersaline and mercaptomerine given by parenteral route. And second type under highly potent, that is non-mercurial compound. Chemically it doesn't contain mercurial compound but chemically belonging to highly potent. Example also called as loop diuretic agent. These agents are also called as loop diuretic. Non-mercurial compounds are also called as loop diuretic agent. This is because these agents acting at the portion of loop of Henle and and therefore called as loop diuretic agent. Example, that is furosemide and ethacrylinic acid. This furosemide and ethacrylinic acid acting at the portion of loop of Henle and therefore called as loop diuretic agent. Example, furosemide and ethacrylinic acid. And last fourth type, that is potassium sparing diuretic. Potassium sparing diuretic, again there are two types. One, that is aldosterone antagonist. This agent act by inhibiting aldosterone hormone action, therefore aldosterone antagonist. Example, spironolactone. This spironolactone that is used as a diuretic agent act by the mechanism by inhibiting action of aldosterone and therefore called as aldosterone antagonist. Example, spironolactone. And second time under potassium sparing, that these agents spare potassium ion and causes loss of sodium and therefore called as potassium sparing diuretic agent. So first type aldosterone antagonist, that is spironolactone, and second type aminoloride compound. Aminoloride compound, example, triamcinolone. So this is the full classification of diuretic agent. This is most important. Sometimes they will ask define and classify diuretic agent along with example. So diuretic, you understand that those agent increases rate and volume of urine formation as well as increases rate of excretion of urine and thereby used in treatment of oliguria and oedema condition are called as diuretic agent. So this is the definition. Now regarding classification, that these are drugs classified into four types according to mechanism of action and according to potency. First type, that is weak diuretic agent. Second, moderately potent diuretic agent. Third, highly potent diuretic agent. And fourth type, that is potassium sparing diuretic agent. Now weak diuretic agent again divided into four types according to mechanism of action. First type, that is osmotic diuretic agent. As the name itself indicating that these agents act by osmosis mechanism and therefore called as osmotic diuretic agent. Again two types, electrolytes and non-electrolytes. Electrolytes, example, sodium chloride, potassium chloride. Then non-electrolytes, example, mannitol and glycerol. Second type under weak diuretic agent, that is acidified salt or also called as urinary acidifier. Example, ammonium chloride and arginine nitrochloride. Third type, xanthine alkaloids, example, aminophyllene. And fourth type, that is carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, example, acetazolamide. Second type, moderately potent, example, benzothiazide derivatives, that is thiazide diuretic, chlorothiazide, hydrochlorothiazide. Then third type, highly potent diuretic agent. Again there are two types under highly potent, parenteral organic mercurial compound. Chemically it contains mercurial compound given by parenteral group. Example, mersaline and mercaptomyrine. Second type, that is non-mercurial compounds are also called as loop diuretic agent. Example, furosemide and ethacrylinic acid. And last fourth type, potassium sparing. As the name itself indicating that these agents act by the mechanism that sparing potassium ion and causes loss of sodium from body, decreases reabsorption of sodium and spare potassium ion. Therefore called as potassium sparing diuretic agent. Again here two types. One, that is aldosterone antagonist, that is spironolactone, and second example, aminoloride compound, that is triamcinolone. So this is full classification of diuretic agent. So sometimes there will be asked full question that define and classify diuretics along with example. Now the next point, that therapeutic uses of diuretic agent, where these agents are going to be advised. Advised means where diuretic agents are going to be useful or what are the therapeutic uses of diuretic agent. So let us see uses. That first use of diuretic agent, that diuretics are useful in treatment of oedema. You understand that oedema, that is nothing but sodium retention in body. When reabsorption of sodium takes place in body, that accumulation of sodium that leads to produces oedema. Diuretics agents are useful in different types of oedema, like maybe cardiac oedema, angioneurotic oedema, nephrotic oedema, in nutritional oedema. In all types of oedema, these agents causes facilitation of sodium from body, decreases reabsorption of sodium in body, and thereby useful in treatment of all types of edema, maybe angionephrotic, maybe cardiac edema, nutritional edema. In different type of edema, diuretic agents are going to be useful. Then another use that useful in treatment of oliguria condition. Whenever there is a decrease in urine flow, urine formation occurs. Maybe because of kidney failure, kidney disorder condition, there is a decrease in urine flow and urine formation. So in treatment of oliguria, these agents facilitating excretion of urine from body and thereby useful in treatment of oliguria. In addition to this, diuretic agents are also used as anti-hypertensive agent. Already in last lecture we completed regarding anti-hypertensive. Particularly thiazide diuretic like chlorothiazide, hydrochlorothiazide, these agents are acting as an oral diuretic agent. So used as an anti-hypertensive agent. In addition to this, these drugs are used in drug poisoning cases. Suppose in drug poisoning occurs to patient, in order to facilitate excretion of poisoning substances from body, diuretic agent given to the patient. Already we completed in barbiturate poisoning. That in barbiturate poisoning, forced diuretic agent like maybe of a menthol injections also given, or furosemide injections, or ethaclinic acid. These agents facilitating excretion of poisoning substances from body. And therefore, in drug poisoning, generally diuretic treatment given to the patient to facilitate excretion of poisoning substances. So another use that useful in drug poisoning. In addition to this, these diuretic agents are also used if suppose acute renal failure condition occurs. Then in renal failure condition, diuretic agents are also useful. And also another use that useful in recurrent calcium stone. In kidney stone, diuretic agents are going to be effective in most of the people having problem of kidney stone. So in kidney stone, whenever there is a recurring calcium stone occurs, diuretic agents are given to facilitate excretion of urine as well as calcium stone from body. So these are the therapeutic uses of diuretic agent. Sometimes they will be asked mention various therapeutic uses of diuretic. So first use that useful in treatment of edema, that is sodium retention in body fluid, different types of edema, that is cardiac edema, nephrotic edema, nutritional edema, angioneurotic edema. In all types of edema, these diuretic agents are effective. In addition to this, use in treatment of oliguria, that is whenever there is a decrease in urine flow, urine formation of the diuretic agents are effective. Then another use that use as anti-hypertensive agent. Use in drug poisoning cases, particularly in barbiturate poisoning, forced diuretic agents given to the patient. Then also use in acute renal failure, in kidney failure condition, and also use in treatment of acute recurring calcium stone, that is in kidney stone condition, diuretic agents are effective. So these are the therapeutic uses of diuretic agent. In addition to this, water in excess quantity also used as diuretic agent. Sometimes they will ask question that water is called as physiological diuretic agent. What is the reason? That is water when given in excess quantity. तुम्ही जर ड्रिंकिंग ऑफ लार्ज अमाउंट ऑफ वॉटर तुम्ही जर घेतलं तर काय होणार आहे? युरिन फ्लो, युरिन फॉर्मेशन वाढत जाणार आहे. दॅट इज डायरेक्टिंग ऍक्शन. वॉटर इज कॉल्ड एज फिजियोलॉजिकल डायरेक्टिंग एजंट. Water is called as physiological diuretic agent. This water used as a physiological diuretic agent by the mechanism that act by inhibiting anti-diuretic hormone action. These drugs act, that is water acting as a physiological diuretic agent by inhibiting action of anti-diuretic hormone. By inhibiting ADH, it facilitating excretion of water from body. But remember that water it is not used, even though it is a physiological diuretic agent, but water it is not used in edema condition. This is because edema there is a sodium retention is the major problem, and therefore this water acting as a physiological diuretic agent by inhibiting action of ADH, that is anti-diuretic hormone, and thereby facilitating excretion of water from body. Sodium retention is the major problem in edema, and therefore this water it is not good diuretic agent in edema condition. Sometimes they may ask why water is because in oedema sodium retention is the major problem, water retention is secondary. While water used as physiological diuretic agent by inhibiting action of antidiuretic hormone, by inhibiting ADH release, it facilitating excretion of water from body, isn't it? And therefore water is not a good diuretic agent in oedema. But water used as a physiological diuretic agent in order to facilitate excretion of certain poisoning substances, or whenever there is a, suppose those drugs having limited solubility in urine, for example sulfonamide drug when given, these drugs having limited solubility in urine, that leads to produces crystalluria formation. Under such a condition, there is advices given to the patient. Those patient on sulfonamide therapy, always advices given that drinking of large amount of water in order to facilitate excretion of sulfonamide from body or to minimize chances of crystalluria formation. There is always advices given to the patient that drinking of large amount of water. Means those drugs having limited solubility in urine, there is advices given to the patient that drinking of large amount of water. Even another use that these drugs are used to wash out certain poisoning substances from urinary tract. Whenever there is a certain drug irritating to urinary tract, in that condition there is always advices given that drinking of large amount of water. So therefore water is called as physiological diuretic agent by inhibiting action of ADH. This drug acting by inhibiting action of antidiuretic hormone and thereby used as a physiological diuretic agent, but it is not a good diuretic in oedema, because in oedema sodium retention is the major problem, water retention is secondary. So this is the reason that water is called as physiological diuretic agent. So this is another question that sometimes they may be asked, why water is called as physiological diuretic agent, isn't it? So where it is used, you understand. Now let us start with the first type of diuretic agent, that is weak diuretic agent. They are most important as far as the exam concerned. Sometimes they may ask, write a note on ammonium chloride or urinary acidifying agent, then carbonic anhydrase inhibitor, that is acetazolamide, then thiazide diuretics, short note on potassium sparing diuretics, then doses of furosemide, ethacrylic acid. These are important. So let us start with the first type of diuretic agent, that is weak diuretic agent. Now under weak diuretic, you understand that these agents again classified according to mechanism of action into different types. That is first type, that is osmotic diuretic agent. Now let us see that osmotic diuretic agent, as the name itself indicating that these agents act by osmosis mechanism. You know that capacity of renal tubule to reabsorb osmotically active agent is very limited. And if such a osmotically active agent, for example sodium chloride or potassium chloride, saline solution given to the patient, आजकल आपण बघतो की 0.9% sodium chloride solution, 0.9% weight by volume sodium chloride injection or sodium chloride solution is given to the patient. This sodium chloride acting by osmosis mechanism. When sodium chloride given, that excess concentration found in glomerular filtration and thereby facilitating excretion of sodium from body, decreases reabsorption of sodium from body and thereby osmosis mechanism and thereby used as a diuretic agent. This osmotic diuretic agent possesses certain characteristics that they are physiologically inert. These compounds are physiologically inert one. Second thing, they are easily metabolizable. These compounds are easily metabolizable. Third thing, that easily filtered through glomerular filtration. Glomerular filtration. So because of this, these are the pharmacological properties of osmotic diuretic agent, that they are physiologically inert, pharmacologically very inert compound, then easily metabolizable and easily filtered through glomerular filtration. Particularly sodium chloride saline solution is given. This sodium chloride, if you compare with sodium chloride and potassium chloride, sodium salts are weak in action as compared to potassium chloride, because sodium chloride, that is sodium may reabsorb in body and therefore sodium chloride salts are weak in action than potassium chloride as a osmotic diuretic agent. So generally hypotonic solution of sodium chloride is given that decreases reabsorption of sodium, facilitating sodium excretion by osmosis mechanism and thereby used as osmotic diuretic agent. Similarly, mannitol that is a polyhydroxy alcohol. This mannitol also used as a diuretic agent, particularly in oliguria condition. Mannitol injections given to the patient, or whenever there is a kidney failure condition occurs or drug poisoning condition occurs, mannitol injections are effective, that facilitating excretion of such a substances by osmosis mechanism and thereby used as osmotic diuretic agent. Then another important one here, that is carbonic anhydrase inhibitor, that is acetazolamide. This is important. Sometimes it will ask, explain or write a note on carbonic anhydrase inhibitor, or explain how acetazolamide used as diuretic agent. So these agents act by the mechanism that inhibiting action of carbonic anhydrase enzyme. So you know that this carbonic anhydrase enzyme responsible for the action that water plus carbon dioxide in presence of carbonic anhydrase enzyme, in presence of carbonic anhydrase enzyme, it converted into carbonic acid, that is there is a formation of H2CO3. This is carbonic acid. Now this carbonic acid once formed, further dissociation takes place into H plus ion and HCO3 negative. Whatever the H plus ion formed here, it exchange with sodium in renal tube. That is, whenever this carbonic anhydrase enzyme particularly present in renal cortex and responsible for this particular reaction, that in presence of carbonic anhydrase enzyme there is a water plus CO2 converted to carbonic acid. This carbonic acid further dissociation takes place into H plus ion and HCO3. Now here this H plus ion responsible for exchange with sodium ion, and thereby reabsorption of sodium takes place in body, and when reabsorption of sodium occurs, that leads to process odema condition. Under such a circumstances, when acetazolamide drug given, acetazolamide drug acting as a by inhibiting action of carbonic anhydrase enzyme, this acetazolamide when given, it blocks the action of carbonic anhydrase enzyme, and thereby no formation of carbonic acid, no availability of H plus ion for exchanging with sodium, and thereby facilitating excretion of sodium. There is a no reabsorption of sodium in body. When acetazolamide drug given, it acts by inhibiting carbonic anhydrase enzyme action, and thereby decreases reabsorption of sodium in body and useful in treatment of odema condition. This is how that acetazolamide acting as a diuretic agent by inhibiting reabsorption of sodium or by inhibiting action of carbonic anhydrase enzyme decreases reabsorption of sodium and used as diuretic agent. And due to this activity, this acetazolamide causes loss of H plus ion, HCO3, as well as loss of sodium, and therefore acetazolamide is also called as self-limiting diuretic agent. Sometimes they may be asked in the new reason question that why acetazolamide is called as self-limiting diuretic agent. This is because acetazolamide drug acting by inhibiting action of carbonic anhydrase enzyme. What is the role of carbonic anhydrase enzyme? That carbonic anhydrase enzyme present in renal cortex responsible that this reaction, there is a formation of bicarbonate, that is carbonic acid formation take place, thereby H plus ion and HCO3. This H plus ion made available for exchange with sodium, and thereby reabsorption of sodium take place in body that leads to process odema. When acetazolamide drug given inhibiting action of carbonic anhydrase enzyme, therefore there is no H plus made available for exchange with sodium, that causes loss of H plus ion, HCO3 and sodium, that leads to produces loss of these ions, and therefore acetazolamide is called as self-limiting diuretic agent. So this is most important one. Sometimes they will ask, write a note on carbonic anhydrase inhibitors or explain mechanism of action of acetazolamide, or another way that why acetazolamide is also called as self-limiting diuretic agent. So this is the reason. Then third type, that is ammonium chloride. That is ammonium chloride is called as urinary acidifying agent. Sometimes we ask write a note on acidifying salts or urinary acidifier. So ammonium chloride, when this ammonium chloride given orally, it converted to ammonia plus H plus ion plus chloride. When ammonium chloride given, this ammonium chloride used as urinary acidifying agent. It changed urine pH to acidic, acting as a metabolic acidosis agent. Here, by this reaction, that ammonium chloride when given orally, it converted to ammonia plus H plus ion plus chloride. This H plus ion which is formed, it reacts with buffers. It reacts with bicarbonates present in renal cortex. In tubular fluid मध्ये जे bicarbonates असतील, this H plus ion react with this buffer, react with this bicarbonate, and thereby produces metabolic acidosis. Whatever the H plus ion form here react with the buffer or with bicarbonate, and thereby leads to produces metabolic acidosis condition. And due to this metabolic acidosis, urinary acidifying condition occurs, and thereby decreases reabsorption of sodium in body and used as diuretic agent. That is the mechanism that ammonium chloride used as a urinary acidifying agent, that there is a release of or dissociation take place into ammonia plus H plus ion and chloride. Ammonia is excreted. Now this H plus ion, it reacts with the buffers in renal cortex and thereby decreases bicarbonate level. When bicarbonate level decreases, it leads to producing metabolic acidosis. And by metabolic acidosis condition, this ammonium chloride used as urinary acidifying agent. Here also there is a loss of ammonia, H plus ion and chloride. That chloride also reacts with the buffers and excreted. Thereby it is also called as self-limiting diuretic agent. Ammonium chloride is also called as self-limiting, as like acetazolamide, because it also causes loss of ammonia, loss of H plus ion and loss of chloride ion. And due to this reason, ammonium chloride is also called as self-limiting diuretic agent. So this ammonium chloride acting as a urinary acidifying agent or by mechanism, that is metabolic acidosis mechanism, used in the dose of 8 to 10 milligram by oral route. So this is act by mechanism, that is by metabolic acidosis or urinary acidifying agent. There is this type of reaction. And last fourth type under weak diuretic agent, that is xanthine alkaloids. That is aminophylline. Already we completed under CNS stimulant, that caffeine, then aminophylline. These drugs belonging to xanthine alkaloids. By increasing renal blood flow volume, increases excretion of sodium from body and thereby used as diuretic agent. So these are the four types under weak diuretic agent, that is osmotic diuretic agent, acidifying salt, that is ammonium chloride acting as urinary acidifier, then xanthine alkaloid, aminophylline, and fourth one, that is carbonic anhydrase inhibitor, that is acetazolamide. So acetazolamide is also important. There are about 2 to 3 ways for questions. Then ammonium chloride, mechanism of action, that is acting as urinary acidifier. So today we completed first type under diuretic agent, that is weak diuretic agent. 4 types: osmotic, acidifying salt, xanthine alkaloids and carbonic anhydrase inhibitor. So now we left 3 types under diuretic: moderately potent, highly potent and potassium sparing diuretic. So we will see next lecture. Today we completed only up to weak diuretic agent, 4 types. So thank you.